All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have another Los Angeles Lakers off-season video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button. It is greatly appreciated. You guys have been showing a lot of love to these Lakers videos, and I'm going to just keep pumping them out while you guys keep enjoying them. So let's get into it. Evan Massey has heard from multiple sources that the Lakers and Carmelo Anthony are very interested in joining forces this offseason. To me, this is the perfect veteran help that I think the Los Angeles Lakers need. Carmelo Anthony's at that point in his career where not only can he still produce a decent amount off the bench, but he's also going to be cheaper. He wants to win a championship. And who better to win a championship with than LeBron James, man? So I'm going to get into a signing of Chris Paul here briefly after this. But, man, could you imagine Chris Paul, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Carmelo Anthony? It's just a bunch of best friends trying to win a championship together. And so I think Carmelo Anthony would definitely sign a contract to the Lakers if they give him an offer this offseason, and I fully expect it to happen. So I like it. I want Carmelo Anthony at this point in his career to do one thing, and that is to win a championship. I don't think that Portland is the best place to do it. They're just struggling a little bit too much. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's talk about Chris Paul next up. The Lakers are seeking a veteran point guard, and according to Mark J. Spears, Chris Paul is on their list. Now, Russell Westbrook is also on their list, but it should be known if Chris Paul does end up opting out of his contract with the Suns, his first call should be from his best friend, LeBron James, and the Lakers. That was a tweet from Magic Johnson. He knows what's up. He also said a big three with LeBron, Chris, and AD will equal an NBA championship. Honestly, I agree with him. Now, NBA executives from around the league have his contract range in the 3-year, $60 million-ish range. And I think Chris Paul would be down to take just a little bit less than maybe he would on another team, or at least structure his deal so that he gets paid less in the first season. 3 years, $60 million for a point guard who went 16.4, 8.9 assists, and 4.5 rebounds in 70 games last season. He played a ton. He was relatively healthy, and he had a great year. He brought the Phoenix Suns to the finals. Truly magnificent. In the playoffs, he put up 19.2 points per game, 8.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds in 20 games in the playoffs. So I've got a trade package here that the Phoenix Suns might be okay with. Chris Paul, most likely, I think it's going to be a sign-in trade. So in this hypothetical trade, the Suns signed Chris Paul to a 3-year contract worth $75 million. But like I said, it might be lower in the $60 million range. Who really knows? But 75 is pretty safe number. The Lakers give up in this trade a 2023 second-round pick, a 2025 second-round pick, and Dennis Schroeder after getting signed and traded at a 4-year contract for $100 million. The reason the Phoenix Suns could possibly be down to do this trade, it's just simply because they don't really have a decision. If Chris Paul decides, like, hey, guys, I'm going to get out of here, not much is up to the Phoenix Suns at that point. The Phoenix Suns don't have much leverage here. If he does decide he wants out, then it's might as well get as much value as you possibly can. He did bring your team to the championship. And I think Dennis Schroeder, he gets a little tough love just because of his horrible playoff experience where he had that one game where he scored 0 points and everyone clowned him. But I think Dennis Schroeder on a young Phoenix Suns team is a decent enough replacement. I'm not really sure who the Phoenix Suns would have on their radar for if Chris Paul does decide he wants out, but I would have to imagine Dennis Schroeder wouldn't be too bad. He is a good playmaking point guard. He can get you a bucket, he can score, he can make a play. And that's what the Phoenix Suns needed this past season. They needed that kind of veteran point guard. I know Dennis Schroeder isn't necessarily a veteran, but he's not really like a young stud anymore. So He'll be getting a starting opportunity in a up-and-coming team, and I feel like just the pressure with playing with LeBron James, Anthony Davis in his first ever starting gig, it might have just not been the role he was looking for. So this kind of solves that Dennis Schroeder issue by getting Chris Paul. Next up, we're going to talk about Dwight Howard. Apparently, Jared Dudley has been recruiting Dwight Howard back to the Lakers. On Dwight Howard's last Instagram post, Jared Dudley commented, "Time to come home." Nice to see that. I really miss Dwight Howard. He had a defensive rating of 102.6 in 2019-2020. This past season, he had a defensive rating of 102.3. And in the 69 games in the 2019-2020 season for the Los Angeles Lakers, he put up 7.5 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, and 1.1 block in his first ever NBA championship. This past season, pretty good statistically in Philly as well, 8.4 points per game. 8.4 rebounds per game, 7 points per game, and about a block in 69 games. I think Dwight Howard was one of my favorite players on that Lakers championship team. He brought a good veteran aspect, good veteran mentality as well, but he's just a big body. Every team needs big bodies. Every championship team needs big bodies. And I think that's what the Los Angeles Lakers were really missing this past season. Marc Gasol was not the answer, in my opinion. I hope that they do not bring Marc Gasol back. If they do decide to bring Marc Gasol back, I hope they decide to bring another big body just in case, because that man is old. I know he's not necessarily like he's the same age as LeBron, but I mean, he looked old, man. He was slow. He was fatigued. And in the playoffs, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't too bad in the playoffs, but the regular season was a drag. It felt like a drag. It would be nice to have more extra legs for depth, much needed depth, especially that big. Everybody needs. That's what the NBA is kind of trending in towards right now. You don't really need to be that good of a three-point shooting team, as documented by this year's Milwaukee Bucks. But if you have big bodies, who can defend, you're going to be just fine. So anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoy it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Most importantly, let me know down below who you want the Los Angeles Lakers to pick up in the offseason. Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, anybody else. Once again, hit that like button. Peace.